Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
Adam Carolla. Victor, this is just breaking right now. Bloomberg is reporting that Chinese officials are evaluating a potential sale of TikTok's U.S. ops to Elon Musk before the app gets banned in the United States. Oh my God. Oh man. Okay. The heads are exploding across the globe. Okay. I thought there were a lot of people who were interested in buying it. Kevin O'Leary's group and some others, but you know, he can stroke the check.
I know we've all been saying how nice it would be if that were fact, and then suddenly they're like, oh my goodness, this is what's happening, but not so fast.
We have some breaking news right now. TikTok is slamming a report that suggests that TikTok may sell to Elon Musk. About an hour ago, Bloomberg reported that Chinese officials were discussing the possibility of having TikTok sold to Elon Musk to stave off a potential ban. But a TikTok spokesperson now in an email to CNBC says, quote, "We can't be expected to comment on pure fiction," which means that TikTok, at least according to its statement, is not considering being sold or selling the company to Elon Musk. Obviously, a lot of people on here would probably leave TikTok if TikTok were sold to Elon Musk, kind of like what happened in Twitter. But at least right now, there are no indications that TikTok will be sold to Elon Musk, and TikTok is denying any such report.
So we don't really know. We still got 2 days until this ban is supposed to go into effect, and we don't know. We don't know. There's a lot of news outlets that are like, oh yeah, Musk is going to buy it. Here's how much he could buy it from. And then there's a lot of news outlets that are saying, TikTok says no. So I don't know. 48 hours. Let's see what happens.
People impacted by these fires are going to receive one-time payment of $770. One-time payment. So they can quickly purchase things like water, baby formula, and prescriptions. So far, nearly 6,000 survivors have registered to do just that.
Well, that happened. I guess that's right around the going rate for FEMA emergency aid is like the $750 area. Yeah, they did a little bit more here. I mean, prices here are substantially higher than they are anywhere else. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers in this situation. I'm glad that there's something there for people, you know, to get help if they need that help right now. It's a measly amount, just like I said, you know, for the folks in North Carolina, $750 does nothing, especially when out here, people who have properties available for rent are jacking up their prices because they know that these people who don't have other homes, that had their home just burned down, have nowhere else to go, and they're desperate, and they will pay just about anything to stay somewhere, and that sucks.
Many people attribute the survival of a single house in an area otherwise decimated by these fires to luck or good fortune. But this woman made a video, and it makes me wonder if there's something else that could be at play. But probably not.
So I talked to the owner of this house right here in Pasadena. I talked to the owner. The owner does not have a smart meter on this house, on the front part of his house. There's no smart meter. No smart meter. So the house did not burn. The back house is the part of the house that had the smart meter. And everything in the back of his house is burnt.
So let's start investigating. If you're in California, go to a surviving house and ask the owner some questions and get back to me, and we'll make a whole series about it.
So I've seen several of these videos, and all of them do the same thing. They kind of edit out the word meter. They say smart, but they don't say the word meter, and they don't put the two words together, which makes me feel like if I do, I'm gonna get in trouble. So smart meter, I don't even know what it is. I was looking at a couple of videos trying to figure out what it is, and it's all the same stuff. And apparently there's like this little thing. So on the side of your house, you've got the box, right? That tells how many kilowatt hours you're using. And the smart meter, like, I guess, transmits that information to the electric company out here in California. Maybe that's what's going on. And they're saying the ones that don't have that weren't able to be targeted or something. That sounds a little far-fetched, but I'm going to keep looking into it and see if I can find any more information about that, because that doesn't sound, I don't know. Sounds like quite a rabbit hole, really.
How interesting. A news reporter in LA just revealed that LA might take a bold step in reshaping its future by changing its zoning laws to limit single-family homes as a part of the LA 2.0 rebuild. Developers may soon be allowed to replace single-family residences with duplexes and apartment buildings, paving the way for a modern smart city. How weird. I guess the plans for Smart LA 2028 that were written in December of 2020 seem to be taking shape so effortlessly. Gavin Newsom, of course, has publicly stated that he will not change zoning laws, but he has proven to be a stone cold liar on more than one occasion. So what do you think? Coincidence or something more?
Well, that's suspicious. Can you believe that I actually posted something about the potential of these smart cities on TikTok and they're like, no, community guidelines violation. I'm like, oh my God, all this information from your community. Hello. But yeah, they don't like it. Oh well, that's pretty much shaping up to be what's going on. Hey, thanks so much for stopping by today. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. It'll really help out the channel. And if you haven't already, won't you consider subscribing?
Sure good to see you. How's life treating you today? Well, Saul, it's been a pretty touch and go situation. Lyndon and I have had quite a few unpleasant words here lately over the deal with that he hired Mike Wallace to assassinate the president. It's been hectic in every way, but we've lived through this far, and I guess we'll continue to do so. Lyndon should have never issued that order to Mike, but we've had our differences, and I'm true blue to Lyndon as I've always been, and tried to carry out every order that he's ever given me. But this is one I'll probably never be able to forget. And the times that we've had in Texas, and the embarrassment that Lyndon had got from Kennedy, I guess there wasn't anything else to do but what he did. Well, you know, Lyndon could have really hit me if he would. Well, Lyndon's the kind of person that doesn't want to help anyone. He's all for Lyndon, and that's the way he's pretty much always been. Well, they had me backed up on that Henry Marshall killing, and they just kind of blackmailed me to keep my mouth shut. And if I hadn't had a bunch of tapes that I'd played after he got killed, because 17 got killed in this situation very mysteriously. And I've done a lot of time, and I've lost a lot of money. It's hurt my family a whole lot. And it's really got me disgusted with Lyndon in one way. In one way, I feel real sorry for him.
So my sister-in-law sent me this, and I had to clean it up quite a bit because it had a lot of background noise and it had some pitch issues. And I got it so, it cleaned up the vocals a little bit. And I really don't know if it was edited. Because, that's pretty big news if Lyndon Johnson had, issued this order and there's proof. That would be huge news, right? Which makes me think that it may be edited.
The newly announced high-speed rail map compared to the fires. Not saying anything, just showing you a picture.
And I'm sure we can all agree that that is a very interesting picture. So if this high-speed rail is to link all of these new smart cities that are happening, hello? If they ever get the damn thing off the ground. If they ever get the damn thing built, because we're just dumping all kinds of money into it and nothing's happening.
So apparently we're all going to Red Note. I like Red Note. I posted my first post earlier. Everybody there is being really nice and welcoming. And I think it's great that the American translation says Red Note, but if you actually translate the name of the app, it's Little Red Book. And if you don't know what that means, that's fine. Google it, you'll learn. And I just think it's hilarious that the American government's like, we're going to ban TikTok because the Chinese got access to all of your data. And all the people on TikTok's response was like, all right, bet, we'll go download the Chinese version of TikTok and just give them our data directly. You know, because TikTok, all their servers are based in the U.S. But RedNote, or the Little Red Book, all of their servers are based in China. But if you haven't downloaded it yet, go get the RedNote app and follow me. I'm on RedNote. We're going to go with this until they ban that app too. And like I said, be nice when you get there, because all the people there have been really nice and welcoming. So be nice.
According to all of the videos that I'm seeing, they don't care much for conservatives over there on RedNote. Unless, of course, that's just what people are saying on TikTok to keep conservatives away from it, because you know how they like to do their little divide-y thing. I don't know. But, no thanks.
I think a very fun part of 2025 so far has been the fact that literally everybody's sick. Everybody on the planet seems to have something. Like, if you think about, of the people that you know, percentage-wise, in the last 2 weeks, how many of them have had some kind of viral illness? It's got to be 60. It's got to be the majority of people. I can rattle off at least 12 names off the top of my head right now, and I only know like 16 people, okay? Like, when I think about who's been sick, my aunt, my brother, my girlfriend, my mom, me, I'm sick. Everybody is sick. And maybe that's just the way it is now. I know I also live in New York City, which is a cesspool. It's kind of like a big family where, like, once one person gets something, we all get it. I know that. But I also just feel like generally across the board, literally everybody is sick. And maybe that's good. No, it's not. No, it's not. I tried to play devil's advocate for a second there, but like, it's not. Wash your hands.
I'm pretty sure it's just called cold and flu season, because it happens every year. Sometimes it's a little worse than others, and this year, I guess, maybe it's a little worse. I don't know, maybe you're just noticing it more. I know it tears through my house once a year, usually around the same time, and we go down like dominoes, one right after the other. Unfortunately, we can't all have it at the same time, which is good for me because I can't take care of everybody when I'm sick. And luckily, this time, I got to be sick without having to take care of anybody because we just went one right after the other. And it was wonderful. I mean, it sucked to be sick, but it was nice to just be sick.
I don't know about y'all, but this is more than just a little spooky. Pure evidence.
Yeah, not so much.
I don't know about y'all, but this is more than just a little spooky. Pure evidence.
Hello, my friend. Those aren't skulls discovered in Africa, but they are still very cool, as these are actually skulls created by an artist named Takeshi Yamada. He's known for creating some very interesting things. I love his creations. And of course, he's created a range of very interesting skulls.
Those two clips were like one right after the other because someone's like, oh, an alien skull was found. And I'm like, really? Let me look it up. And then boom, alien skull. And then right after it, nope, not an alien skull. I was so bummed out. So you get to be bummed out with me. Sorry.
Wow, that's crazy. Why do you think every store is pushing self-checkout so hard? It's not about efficiency, it's about control. Right now, it feels convenient. Scan your items, pay, and go. But phase 1 is always about getting us comfortable. Phase 2, stores with no employees, no cashiers, just shelves, cameras, and drones watching your every move. And here's the twist. It's not just about monitoring. They'll control what you can buy using something called carbon credits. Every product you pick up will deduct from your yearly limit. Want a fancy lab-grown steak? Sure, but that might cost you all your credits for the year. Luxury items will be rationed, and you'll be stuck with sustainable choices they decide are good for you. Think about it. The illusion of choice, but your groceries, your meals, all pre-approved by AI systems. Step out of line, pick up something unauthorized, and boom, the drones flag you. Maybe they even shut down your payment chip. They're building a system where you don't decide what's in your cart. They do. And it all starts with a simple self-checkout. Convenient, right? Or is it the perfect trap?
This is just a theory, not a fact.
I know it's just a theory, but doesn't it feel Like just maybe? There's a very good possibility that's the road we're headed down. I mean, they're kind of getting rid of employees, and what happens once they get rid of employees? They start getting rid of people.
What does this have to do with this? Well, thank you so much for asking. Let's play a game called Can It Get Worse? So Nestle's been in the news lately because of a lawsuit against Poland Spring Water where they claimed it was spring water and it's not. Nestle's lawyers are like, it's not fraud. We just lied about saying it was spring water. So let's just talk about Nestle for a second. Did you know that the United States is one of 8 countries that doesn't have a federally mandated paid maternity leave? Nestle is one of the largest players when it comes to infant formula. They make a lot of money off of it, which is why they spend an insane amount of money lobbying Congress so that there is no federally mandated paid maternity leave. So the entire world is essentially like, yeah, mothers should be home with their newborns, but the representatives in the US, our elected officials are like, but Nestle keeps paying us money, so no thanks. And you think they care about your Gerber baby? They don't care. That's pretty messed up, right? That's pretty unethical. Well, it gets worse. It's the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, Nestle is absolutely horrendous. They go into these places and start like sucking up their groundwater and then charging the people who live there for the water that they're sucking out of their ground. It's disgusting, and Nestle is absolutely despicable.
So if nothing had happened to that health insurance CEO, they would have had their year-end investor meeting and cracked open $1,000 bottles of champagne and congratulated each other for making more money than they've ever made in 1 year because they used technology to deny 92% of all claims. That is violence. Over 500,000 Americans go bankrupt every single year from medical bills, and most of those people had insurance to begin with. That is violence. Countless people die every year from being denied coverage or because they're rationing medications they can't afford like insulin. That is violence. And we don't know how many people actually die from being denied care because the health insurance industry has spent millions lobbying our politicians to keep that information secret. That is violence. So if you're all upset by all these memes you're seeing about this CEO, keep in mind, you are one cancer diagnosis or major medical situation away from being completely radicalized yourself by our predatory health insurance industry.
Tots and pears.
Shut up. Is it cold as hail or hell? The correct phrase is cold as hail, because hail is frozen precipitation and therefore cold, while hell is commonly associated with fire and heat, making cold as hell a contradiction. Son of a...
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the American English language. It's hyperbole. That's all. It's used to like accentuate how cold it is. It's not actually talking about hell, even though there are some, depictions of hell that painted as very, very cold. And it's not hail because hail is cold, because that's dumb. It's hyperbole, y'all. It's hyperbole. Yeah.
An email was just leaked from a health insurance company requiring all of their employees to sign a pledge to never say anything bad about the health insurance industry and to never say anything bad about their executives, under the threat of legal action, reaffirming our pledge to our work and each other. In light of recent events, we want everyone to feel safe and secure, including our executives. To reinforce our commitment to maintaining a safe environment, we are requiring each of you to take the following pledge. I pledge to uphold the safety and well-beings of my colleagues and the company family as a whole. I pledge to recognize the health insurance industry and its vendors as indispensable pillars of the American healthcare system. I acknowledge the vital role of executives as the organization's key drivers of success and as exemplars of leadership and professionalism, and denouncing any and all forms of violence or threats against executives unequivocally and without exception. Let me know in the comments what you think of the employee pledge. Are they allowed to tell their employees that they don't have free speech?
Yeah, absolutely. I make my employees sign contracts just like that. They're not allowed to talk negatively about our company. It's always in our favor, or there will be consequences. I'm totally kidding. My husband and I are the only employees, so we say whatever we want. Honestly, I don't know if that's legitimate. I can't recall ever hearing somebody saying, oh, you're not allowed to talk negatively about the company. I mean, I have had issues where I wasn't allowed to talk about the consumers that I worked with because of HIPAA things, but That's interesting. I don't know.
I'm equally concerned about the potential rise of a tech industrial complex that could pose real dangers for our country as well. Americans are being buried under an avalanche of misinformation and disinformation, enabling the abuse of power. The free press is crumbling. Editors are disappearing. Social media is giving up on fact-checking. The truth is smothered by lies, told for power and for profit. We must hold the social platforms accountable.
So in other words, we used to have complete control of the narrative, but we no longer have control of the narrative since Elon bought X, and we don't like that. And as a result of us not having complete control of the narrative and people actually being allowed to call out our lies, we lost the presidential election, we lost control in the Senate, and we did not get control of the House. So Republicans have control in all three of those areas, and we don't like it. And rather than battle back and forth with ideas and exchange free ideas and prove that our ideas are better, no, we don't like that. We want to go back to censorship so we can control the narrative and control what you see so we can continue to stay in power. But I'm going to act like it's about misinformation and holding those social media companies accountable. They feel the control slipping through their fingers and they don't like it. As Elon says, we are the media now.
Remember on Monday when we talked about how Gavin Newsom went all boo-hooing to Biden and, I'm being bombarded by these gale force or these hurricane force misinformation winds. And see what kind of response that got? The president coming out and saying, hey, stop it. Don't pick on him anymore. But that's not what's going on. Information is free now. Get used to it.
They can easily track our phones. That's crazy.
Why did every major phone company switch to non-removable batteries at the same time? You ever think about that? They'll tell you it's about making phones slimmer, more waterproof, but really it's about taking away your control. Back in the day, you could pop the battery out and boom, no power, no tracking, no eavesdropping. But now, hit that power button all you want. It's still on. It's still listening. Think about it. Alarms still work when your phone is off. Updates sneak in overnight. Airplane mode? That's just a placebo. Your phone is always alive, always connected. And this wasn't just one company's idea. Every major brand, every model shifted at the same time. Not one gave us a choice. Why? Because the system needed it. It's all about control. They've created a device you carry willingly, one that tracks your every move, listens to your conversations, and beams it back to who? You don't know. And that's the scariest part. The tech didn't evolve to serve us. It evolved to watch us. And we just went along with it, didn't we? No questions, no pushback, just acceptance.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
And right about that time was when we started seeing these upgraded cell phone towers going up, right? We suddenly don't have removable batteries anymore, but we've got 4G. We've got 5G. We've got a tower in every single neighborhood. Oh man, I can build on this forever. That's great.
Isn't it interesting that anyone who starts to take responsibility for their life is considered a conspiracy theorist? Because you can't help but look around and just think to yourself, why the f is everything so backwards? Like, why is everything upside down? You begin to look around like, I wonder why modern medicine is based around symptom-suppressing pharmaceuticals that will never actually get you healthy. And I wonder why we have to pay extra for food that does not have poison in it. Like, shouldn't all food just be organic as a standard? And the food that does have poison in it at least have a label? And isn't it kind of weird that we send our kids to school to get an education, but instead what they really get taught is that there is only a single source of knowledge, truth, and information, and it comes from institutional authority. And if you don't submit to it, you're a bad kid. Does anybody else see this? Drop a comment down below. Let me know.
I'm finding it increasingly harder and harder not to see this. Every single day, I see more of it, and I really don't understand how some people, they just don't.
The little pictures from the microscope. This is German rain. And if you want to know what this liquid does, you can have a look at it in the lab. When you have bigger amounts of it, it looks like this. It's a liquid crystal. This liquid is self-organizing physically. And this, at the moment, is sleeping. It's not aware of being observed, it's quiet. Sometimes when it doesn't like to be observed, it might jump out of the pot straight into your face. If you have two of those in one room, get them 5 meters close to each other, they stare at each other, then they decide that they want to be united. And then they start to pull. It's like magnetism, but it's intelligent. And when they realize that you hold them within the vessel and they cannot escape, they get angry and start to shake the vessel and try to break through the wall. Because they know once they are through, they can flow over the ground and unite to a bigger unit. This is something you can just observe in the lab. And especially this liquid was extracted from those black stones. This is World War II leftovers. We found them in an underground facility in Bavaria, 1/2 ton of it. So we can imagine that the SS processed quite a bit of this. And I guess that the guys found also the technology to extract the oil from it. Must have been there in written form because they did it in the lab successfully. If you look at those stones, you have a brief history of things reported out of former times. You have, if you look at H.P. Lovecraft, the descriptions of the black magic communities in Eastern Europe. They had kind of sculptures out of this black oil schist. And once a year they went there slaughtering little babies to get the demons out of the stone, sacrificing little children to communicate and get the service from the demons. This is one thing mentioned. If you go back in history, you find them in the Kaaba in Mecca. The same form of phallus-shaped structure that is described in Vedic script as Shiva's lingam, that is described in this Lovecraft script. A fragment of it is part of a central part of the Kaaba.
Okay, someone somewhere said look into black goo, and I can't remember who it was. So whoever you were, leave me a comment, take your credit, because that is absolutely incredible. I have never really looked into black goo, and wow, they made monuments and sacrificed babies to have demonic interactions. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's fantastic. I mean, it's not fantastic, it's terrible that they did that. But it makes my brain happy because I'm learning something new about something that I didn't even know ever existed. That's incredible. I'm definitely going to look more into that. Whoever you were that suggested it, thank you so much. That was wonderful. On that note, I'm calling it for today. So thanks so much for sharing your time with me. Come on back in a couple of days. It's going to be Inauguration Day. We're not going to talk about it though. Find something else to be a little bit distracting because everybody else is going to talk about Inauguration Day. So we're going to watch different stuff. And I'll say different things. And it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day. Holy crap, I just realized that this is episode number 300. 300 episodes. Oh my goodness. That's fantastic. I have learned so much, and thank all of you for being here with me and learning all these things with me and putting up with my mannerisms. I appreciate you. I really do. And I can't wait to make 300 more. Yeah.